Everybody, welcome to the ACE Brisbane There's an App for That series. Today we have Craig and Tom from Appfox joining us, and I'm not going to tell you what they're going to be talking about today, but I will say one of their products I'm very, very excited to be using, and I can't wait to see more of it in the demonstration here and all of that. So yeah, anyway, I'll be quiet on that one. Craig, and by the way, if you've got any questions, feel free just to post them in the chat. We can address them either throughout the proceeding, or we'll just take a break and kind of go through them as well. But either way, Craig and Tom, over to you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Ash, and really nice to see you all. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll get rolling. 1 second. Cool. Okay, can you see that? Yeah, cool. Thank you. So I can't see everyone now, but I can just see one person on the screen. So by all means, please jump in if you've got any specific questions. At the end of each section, we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A. But yeah, as Ash mentioned, my name's Craig Wilson. I'm joined by my colleague Tom as well. If there's any technical questions relating to our products that come up during this discussion, it's been an absolute privilege to be here. So thank you ever so much for taking the time to join us. And yeah, we've got quite a bit to run through today. But we want to make it as engaging as possible. So yeah, as Ash said, please do pop your questions in the chat, and we'd love to get through them as we go. Cool. So just a quick intro about myself, because you'll be hearing mostly from me during this conversation. As you can probably tell from the accent, based in the UK. So I should have started with, I'm in the product marketing team here at Appfox. My colleague Tom is one of our senior software engineers as well. So got a mix of kind of the marketing and the technical side here. But yeah, based in the UK. It definitely doesn't look like that picture all the time. As many of you will already know, it is very much like the second picture, raining all the time, very grey and gloomy. But I have a very, and this isn't just kind of lip service, the fact that I'm joining the ACE Brisbane, but I have a very soft spot for Australia and New Zealand, because I spent a significant amount of time there when I was traveling, and I also lived in Melbourne for a while. So those two photos are actually my own. The first one was kayaking down the Yarra River in Melbourne, which hopefully they still do, because it was an incredible experience. But that was a picture many moons ago from my kayak. And then the second one is, and you're probably all thinking, the classic tourist, but doing the AJ Hackett bungee in near Queenstown. So loved it, and you know, it's a very soft spot in my heart for both those countries. So lovely to see you all. And then finally, just kind of a bit about me as well in terms of hobbies. I'm mad about football. So yeah, it's just kind of everything outside of work is my passion around football. My club is Arsenal, based in in London, for those of you who do follow football as well. So yeah, a little bit about me. In terms of about Appfox, so our part of our business launched in 2017. We are part of a much bigger business called Automation Consultants, based in the UK, an Atlassian expert. Predominantly based in the UK, and we had a marketplace part of that spun off in 2017. We've been platinum. You have the tiering in terms of marketplace partners. We've been at the platinum level since 2022, which has been amazing. So quick growth, and then we've won some awards as well, and more recently won the Atlassian Partner of the Year award back in 2022 for one of the products that we'll be discussing today, which is Optimizer. So yeah, that was a proud moment for us. In terms of our portfolio, we have quite a lot of apps. These are the main ones that we'll focus on from a kind of a Confluence and Jira perspective. We do have some Trello power-ups, and more recently we've also released one for another platform. But yeah, these are the 4 core ones that we have, and we'll cover 2 of these today. And there's a reason behind why we're going to cover 2. But yeah, just to give you a kind of perspective in terms of our portfolio. In terms of the mission for us as well, like what we're working towards, what gets us out of bed in the morning. In effect, we want teams to work smarter, faster, and better together, and that's within the Atlassian toolset. So a lot of the products we have solve pretty important use cases. They've all been born out of really specific pain points as well, and the ultimate goal is for that, really. And that's where, when I spoke to Ash and Kit about this session, we wanted to kind of bring this through and provide you some demos that will really help you. And that's why we've brought 2 products in today, which is going to be one of our Jira products and one of our products for Confluence. So the reason behind this is we wanted to give you some value from a customer perspective, but also appreciate there will be people from Atlassian experts or solution partners joining the call as well. And both of these products can really add value to you in your roles, not just helping clients, but also in your actual day-to-day roles and doing the work that you do. So in terms of Jira, we'll focus on one of our products called Optimizer. And the goal with this is helping you and also your clients maximize their return on investment in Jira, which I'll come back to shortly. And then from a Confluence perspective, building your business processes into Confluence and making sure that the work that you do within Confluence gets done in the right way. And because we only have a short amount of time together as well today, that it will be quite fast. So the demos will be a minimum of 5 minutes. And if we can go beyond that a little bit in terms of the physical demos, we will. But if you want to see a little bit more, if you want to dive in a bit more detail, like that option is there. We do offer that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly. We do tailored demos all the time with customers, and we very much focus those on what they need. So again, if that's something you'd be interested in, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'd love to help. Cool. So kicking it off with the Jira side of things. So the premise here is focusing on helping you get the most out of using Jira. Obviously, an investment in Jira is significant. It costs a lot of money, but it also takes a lot of time and resource to get Jira up and running and to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. And one of the common pain points is that Jira is almost infinitely configurable, which is a blessing, but it also can sometimes be a curse as well. And over time, obviously, Jira will grow. The amount of data, people, and different items that go into Jira will inevitably increase. And without the right processes and tools in place, that can become a bit unwieldy after a period of time. And that's where we built this product, Optimizer, to really help with that. So some of the challenges, as I mentioned, you've got almost unlimited customization options, probably could claim unlimited. You've got the excessive buildup of data and configurations over time. And in many cases, when we speak with customers, and we've seen it in our own experiences, the processes that you put in place behind how Jira should be used and what should be set up usually comes after the fact of Jira being implemented. Obviously, you know, Jira has been around for a little while, so there are a number of companies now that kind of start with the processes first and then implement the product. But inevitably, most of the time, companies will start with the product first and kind of then evolve as you go. And this final part is that the experience that people have with Jira is very varied, and that's from the admin level all the way down to the users. So that brings its own challenges. You know, people asking for specific fields or configurations that may actually not be needed, or there might be a more consolidated approach to that. So those are the challenges that predominantly we'll see, and that kind of sets the foundation for the product that we'll go through shortly. In terms of the impact of those challenges, I mean, the image on the right kind of sums up, I guess, how sometimes people can feel about the impact of those challenges. So duplicate custom fields is always a great one that we enjoy talking about with people, because you get that happening quite often. Fields with very similar names, configurations that maybe could be more consolidated. And if you have kind of poor data within Jira, the impact of that on the users is significant. So using simple things like JQL or pulling information through on dashboards might not actually be painting the right picture for you, because the data within Jira is polluted or is bloated, where actually it could be a lot more cleaned up and you can get more out of it. On data center, there is, you know, widely documented, and Atlassian even documented themselves, excessive use of custom fields in particular can have a knock-on effect to performance. Obviously, that's improving over time, but it's still something that we do here. And then finally, from an admin's perspective, a very complex, unwieldy Jira site is very difficult to troubleshoot and manage. And again, the product that we developed is trying to give people the tools they need to get their Jira into a better spot, but also keep it there as well. And the final point as well, and the reason we have a lot of conversations with customers as well, is making sure that the stakeholders are happy. So not just your users, which is obviously the bulk of the people that would use Jira, but also the management team as well, who have invested in the product, want to see the gains and the return from the product as well. Keeping those happy is really important. Those people are happy is really important, and the impact of some of these challenges can negatively impact that too. So setting the scene, that's the challenge that lots of organizations face, and that's the impact it has. And again, these are only a subset of them. You may have other experiences yourselves, which again, please do pop into the chat, and we'd love to talk through them. But that's effectively the reason we built Optimizer. And Optimizer in a kind of a sentence, is a tool that makes Jira administration easier. It doesn't make it easy, it will make it easier for you. It unlocks a lot of different functionality and tools that you can use to help keep Jira in a better state, and keep on top of where the areas that you need to focus on. So with that being said, I'll jump into a quick demo now so you can see, and then what we'll do is after the demonstration, we'll jump into any questions that are in the chat and also share some of the common questions that we get from customers with regard to Optimizer. So I'll start from a data center perspective on Optimizer, particularly the reason being is this was the first product that we had. It's got a few more features on it, but I'll also show you the cloud version very quickly as well, time dependent. Optimizer is an admin only tool, so general Jira users can't access it. It's only for the Jira administrators. Once it's installed, if you click in the top right hand corner on data center and click Optimizer, I just need to quickly log in again because it's timed out. There we go. Once you click into it, the first thing you'll see is what we call the health checks. We felt this was an important place for admins to start. It effectively gives you a real-time view of the health of your Jira site. And it's always a good place for people to see, okay, where do I maybe need to focus my attention? Is there something I need to be aware of? We've made a lot of improvements to the health checks over the last year, working with partners and customers. And again, if those of you on the call have been involved in that, like a huge thank you for all the feedback you've given us. What you can see here with the health checks is it's very comprehensive. So it'll cover a lot of the core configurations within Jira, and it's very easy to interact with. So for example, you can see there's a whole bunch of checks here, 24 in total that have run across a whole host of different things. We are looking to add more to this over time as well. So please do send your feedback in if you want to see more baked in health checks. But let's say custom fields, right? There's one that's failed and there's 3 with warnings. So you can just click in and see what is happening here. So within custom fields, these are 4 of the checks that are taking place. And we can see the one that's failed is duplicate custom field names. Again, linking back to the point I raised earlier about as your Jira site grows, the risk of duplicates will increase. And it's something I'm sure many of you have seen as well. And so here we have 2 results. This is a demo site. It doesn't have tons of data in it. So when you run Optimizer on your own, you're likely to see more results. But here, if you click in, there were 2 custom fields that had duplicate names. You can click into that and you can see what those are. You get the IDs, you get the fields, you can add more columns and information. And then, yeah, you can just load this through. If I just click through here, you get a good sense of the information that you can pull through in Optimizer as well. And all of this is interactable. So if you wanted to get a full list of all the issues that are associated to those specific fields, you can just click here. It's hyperlinked, for example. Now, with this information as well, you can do a number of things. So if I jump to on the left, we've got tables. It's the same format as this. So this is just a kind of a focused view, if you like, on these duplicate custom fields. But if I jump into another smart table around custom fields, this shows everything. And the actions you can do are the same. So you can delete items if you wish. And again, big caveat, if it's unused, you've done your kind of due diligence to make sure it's okay to be deleted, then you can do that through Optimizer. In the data center version, we have some specific features for custom fields, which are not currently in cloud, but again, we're looking into this, which is optimization. So looking at the context of custom fields and identifying those that are maybe contexted globally that shouldn't be, and it will walk you through that process and do the recontexting for you. And then finally, as you can see on the left, we have the ability to merge custom fields as well, which is a really powerful feature. So at the moment, you can only merge fields of the same type. And again, we're working through some very exciting improvements in this space, so definitely watch that. But you can do all of this within the product as well. So it's very flexible. So yeah, this is the custom fields table. Again, if I just load in some of the information to give you a little bit of a snippet, you've got projects here. As you can see on the left, there's lots of different options. Just to give you a bit of flavor, you've got all the projects here. You can see them in detail. If I wanted to bulk update the project owner, as an example, I could select multiple items, jump into actions, change the project lead, and then decide who I want to change that to, and then apply that. And that will put it into the task manager. It will queue it up, and then you can execute that change on your terms. It doesn't do it straight away. It'll always put it into the task manager, and then you go through the task manager, you select what items you want or what changes you want to make, and you can process it through that way. There are lots of different tables on the left hand side. You can get a good sense of the ones here. They all have drop downs so you can see projects, project categories, etc. And here, there's a user management feature, again, giving you the options to kind of manage things at scale. And we have some advanced features at the bottom as well, including the ability to view your Jira logs from within the Optimizer product itself. We have a whole bunch of reports, which are really useful. So over time, you can see the different usage and increase and decrease of items. But you can equally see the history report as well, which from an admin's perspective is really powerful, and it's something our customers really like. The ability to see, like, over time, what impact am I making? So if there's a huge number of custom fields, have I made an impact in reducing those numbers through either deletion, merging, optimization, etc.? You can track that quite nicely here as well. So yeah, a very quick snapshot of the data center version in cloud. And we do have a version 2. Again, just showing you this. You click into apps, Optimizer here. The first screen you'll see is what we call the instance overview, just a helicopter view of your site. But we do also have the health checks here. It looks a teeny bit different, but the premise is the same. You have all the different configuration objects, of which we're adding a lot more to, and you just click in and you get more of a granular view, as you can see. And you can do similar actions as before. So we wanted to keep the look and the feel the same because we had many customers that have either gone from server to cloud, or some that are going from data center to cloud. And again, being able to pick up and use Optimizer and run with it is always a great thing. So the UI is as consistent as we can make it. But again, we're working with a bunch of customers and partners to build this product out. So what you're seeing today is very much the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to come with this product. So we're very, very excited for the future. In the interest of time, and obviously covering off a second product, what I'll do is I'll stop sharing for now, and we'll jump into any questions, and then we'll move into the next product. But yeah, based on what you see, if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in. We also have some questions that customers do share with us as well, so we can jump into
that. Yeah, I guess probably a question I might have is that, obviously Optimizer is useful for cleanups and those kind of things. But I guess more of a, like, what's the kind of use case as well for more of a, like, keeping it there long-term application? Yeah. How does that kind of work for you guys?
It's a great question. So it's one that we get very often. People do see, like, Optimizer is great for kind of filtering that data. You can do a bulk deletion. You can get your site into a better spot. Happy days. That's the very much short-term picture. What we say is, the cleanups are very much ongoing process. As long as you have Jira, you need to keep it in a good spot. So if you do a big cleanup today, use Optimizer and you uninstalled it, sure, you could do that, right? But in 6, 9, 12 months, what's to say you're not getting closer to that point again? So it would be better to do more of a little and often, review the information, use the health checks, use the smart tables, keep on top of the information that you have available. And that little and often approach is always a more healthier way of doing things than kind of the big bang. Every year we're going to get this product, do a big cleanup, and then move on. We've had lots of conversations with customers who use the product ongoing, and it does save them time by doing it more consistently, using the product rather than just, as you say, a big cleanup in one go.
Awesome. And just reading the chat as well, and it's probably just more for the video recording. But yeah, we saw merge in there as a function. That, just as somebody who has used it, very excited to see that. But yes, obviously it's just on data center at the moment. But what's the ETA for cloud for that one, or do we know?
It's a good question, Tom. I'll pass to you as you're the person who owns the roadmap.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of the sort of high priority things we're looking to bring to cloud as soon as possible. I can't give like a specific date, but it's partly because there are a few sort of challenges that we're sort of working through with the cloud API on the data center. In some ways, some data is a little bit easier to sort of get and display within the app. But yeah, we're looking to bring it through as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I see there's still some questions going, but we can just keep going with the next, just in the interest of time. We can circle back. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no worries. What I'll do is we'll just take the last question from Tim very quickly and then jump on, because I think that'd be
awesome.
quite quick and easy to do if that's all right. Tom, do you want to cover that one? Do you want me to cover that one? It's the priorities with regard to the roadmap.
Yeah, sure. I can say a couple of things, and then if you have anything that you wanted to add, that'd be cool. So on DC, one of the things we're sort of working on right now as one of our top priorities is with regards to that merge feature. So there's a couple of sort of manual steps in that process at the moment. So after you, or sort of to help with the merging process, you need to also sort of merge the configurations of the fields involved, which can be a bit of a pain. Sometimes you get conflicts between the contexts of fields and that sort of thing. So we've actually recently added a feature which helps with that, makes that sort of more automatic, highlights any potential problems for you so you can step through them. And we're looking to expand that further and make more of those sort of configuration changes automatic rather than manual. And I think, as Craig mentioned earlier, currently you can only merge fields of the same type, so like two text fields, for example, and there's a limited set of fields that you can merge. But we're expanding that to many more types of fields and also bringing in cross-field type merging. And then on cloud, we're focusing a lot on customization at the moment. So the health checks at the moment, we've recently added sort of several configuration options in terms of, for example, there's health checks for identifying sort of inactive, unused bits of configuration in your instance. So we're adding in the ability to let you as an admin define exactly what that means, so that you can, flag the objects which haven't been used for a certain number of time, and other things like that. Yeah, hopefully that helps. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Craig.
No, what I'd say is that there are a couple of people on this call definitely that we've been working with to build out some of the customization on the health checks as well. So, we do work extensively with customers, and if there's stuff you want to see, let us know. The product's grown a lot in a short space of time, and that's through the feedback we get from folks like yourselves. So yeah, please don't hesitate to let us know what you like and also what you don't like or what you want to see. It really does help us out tremendously. Cool. So yeah, I'll jump back into the next part. Please do keep the questions coming through. Just got to get the share back again. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can see that again. So just a quick summary of Optimizer. We did a quick run through of it, but these are the core use cases. So the health assessments, configuration maintenance, cleanups, and then also something over the last couple of years, and we expect this to continue, is it's a great tool for helping prep for migration, but also is a great tool to keep beyond the migration as well. So it can help you get to this point where you've got a good amount of data to take across, but then once you've migrated, it's also a really powerful tool to help you keep Jira in a good spot, especially if you've invested a lot of money in the migration and the time and resource, etc. Cool, so moving on to Confluence. This one is another one of our products, but basically wants to focus on how you bring your business processes to Confluence, which ultimately helps you get things done in the right way. So the right people are involved in the process at the right time. So kind of setting the scene a little bit with this, in Confluence, like it's again a similar tool to Jira, right? The more it gets used, it will grow, and the number of pages and spaces you have will inevitably grow. But every document and every page that's created in Confluence, from your own to other sites and other organizations, is always different. So there's no two documents that are identical, and with that comes some extra nuances as well, that every business operates in its own way. So you have very company specific ways of working. You might have something that's very specific to the industry that you're in, but you also might have some regulatory requirements, and this is again the conversations that we have with our customers. So things like this, where you have an SOP or a procedure that says this document needs to go from A to Z in this way, it might look a little bit like this. Maybe this is an oversimplified version in your world, and that's fine. Like, we know that these processes do very much differ, but we know these processes don't exist in isolation either. So whilst you might have one kind of diagram like this for one specific document, you'll likely have other ones for other documents. Now, I appreciate I've kind of copied and pasted the same one multiple times, but the premise behind this is that you'll have different processes for different documents. And that's what this product is aiming to help you solve, or at least help address, specifically when it comes to Confluence. So the other part as well, just to say, is you may need some level of sign-off or approval on documents before they can be considered ready or published. Again, that kind of bakes into the ways of working and the processes that we've just discussed. So how can you bring that level of flexibility to Confluence? Well, we've designed this product called Workflows, which is the newer product in our Atlassian portfolio, which is an all-in-one document lifecycle management tool. And it's grown exceptionally fast and had lots of really good feedback from customers as well. And we're also very excited for the future of this one. So just to jump in and kind of give you a look at and how this one, 1 second, sorry. Just to give you a look at Workflows itself. So jumping into a Confluence site here, I'm just going to move this down a little bit because I've got the Teams browser here. You have a Confluence page. Again, this is a demo space. There's not huge amounts of information here, but just to give you enough of a kind of a premise, you've got a Confluence space with lots of different pages. This one is for HR, and this one has lots of policies. Now, these policies will typically need an approval process. If without an app like Workflows, I could tag people on the page, I could use the native page statuses from Atlassian, etc. But some of those processes are not that scalable. And what you inevitably would need to look for is something that will help you kind of build those processes and then apply them to a page, and then make sure that this page here, for example, goes to the right people at the right time. And once it's approved, it's then made available to the rest of the organization. So you can achieve that using a product like Workflows. When the product is installed, at the top, you'll see this apply workflow button here. This shows that there's not a workflow currently on the page. We can add one, and I'll show you how we do that in a moment. But before we do that, I just want to show you what the workflows look like. So again, thinking back to the image I showed earlier with the processes, we can build that within the app itself. So jumping into the admin settings and then into workflows, this is what we call the workflow manager. So this is all of your document workflows in one place. You can see it's paginated as well. So there's a large number of different workflows. And if I jump into any one of these, let's take the general management approval workflow. This is a document workflow that I've created. And as you can see, it's not a horizontal, but a vertical process flow going from top to bottom. And there's a couple of approval processes built into here as well. So first review, team review, and all of this is customizable. So everything you see here has been built specifically for what we needed in this case. And you can do the same. So you can drag and drop page statuses into here. You can add approval processes. You can rename them like so. You could say, okay, marketing team review. You can jump in here and you can select whoever you want from Confluence. I'll just select Tom as well. And you have lots of different options here. Like, obviously, time is limited, so I won't be able to go through all of them, but the premise of this is it's really customizable. So you can build as many workflows as you want. You can build them exactly how you want them to be, and then you can apply these to individual pages within your Confluence site. So we use this ourselves. So as an example, we use multiple different workflows within a single space, depending on the document. So for some documents, we might need a two-stage approval process. For other ones, we might need more than that. Others, we might need less. It's very flexible, and the workflow builder here has been designed to kind of give you that drag and drop approach, so you can really just build and tailor the processes you need. On the left-hand side, you'll see a bunch of actions as well. You can see some of these have been added to the workflow here as an example. Yeah, these actions they add a lot of power to the workflow as well. So they automatically trigger at the certain point that you want them to happen. So we've got set page restrictions added in here. It basically updates the view and edit permissions of a page at certain points in the document's lifecycle. Where we see this commonly being used is at the beginning of a document's life. The organization may not want it to be visible to many people. You can add the action at the beginning to kind of lock it down to a small group of people. And then once it's approved, you can then open it up to the organization automatically. And that doesn't require anyone to go and do that. Workflows will take care of that for you if that's been configured correctly. We have a whole bunch on the left-hand side here as well. So automatic emails, adding labels to pages, adding comments automatically. Again, the premise, similar to Optimizer, just trying to take out a little bit of that extra work that's required, so people can focus on just building great documentation and letting the app kind of take care of the process in the background and saving you valuable time. There are a lot of actions here. We have plans to add even more. Again, if you want to see more added in, by all means, please do let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So yeah, this is one of the workflows here. So this is a two-stage approval process. I'll just jump in and show you what a single stage one will be. Again, looks very different. It's a lot smaller and just has the one single approval process. And then you might have a content expiry. So this is kind of, I guess, a mix between the two. It's a little bit bigger, but at certain points you can expire the document. So after a certain period of time, let's say 12 months, you want the document to expire, you can do that quite easily using the different statuses within workflows here. So that's the creation of the workflows. It's very controlled as well. A site admins rather can create workflows, and if they create one, it can be used across the entire site. If a space admin creates one, it can be used on the specific space, but general Confluence users can't create workflows. They can use them, but they can't create them and edit them. Now we have a whole bunch here. How do I go and apply these to pages? They're all active, so I can just jump into the company car scheme. I click on apply workflow here, and I can add this manually if I wish. I can automatically add workflows to pages. I'll cover that off in a second. But yeah, I'll select the workflow that I created just now, press apply, page will update, and at the top of the screen you'll see the first status appear, which is draft. So anyone could go into this page now and see, okay, this page is a draft version, it's not currently approved, and then basically I just click to the next stage and it will move through the cycle. So one moment, just click back into here. This is now moved to first review. I think I've put myself as the viewer, I have. So I'm the reviewer here. I can see the approve and reject buttons. Other people come into the page, they will see I'm a reviewer, but they can't see these buttons as an example. And yeah, I can just manage the process that way. So I can leave comments, just say very far. I can spell, we go. Press approve, and that will move on in the cycle. So yeah, that's one example here, and that's adding the workflow manually. You can add them automatically as well. So you can use CQL to add workflows to pages automatically. So for example, in this space, I want all these pages to have a workflow. You can do that automatically. So anytime a new page is created in that space, the workflow gets applied to it automatically. You can also use labels as well. So for page templates, adding a label to a page template and then using that template will trigger the application of a workflow as well, if you've configured that in the settings. So it's very flexible and you can use it in different ways. The final thing I just want to show you is the ability to get a helicopter view of all the pages that are using workflows. So if I jump into apps and then click on workflows, this brings up the search. So here you see all the different pages across Confluence. In this example, we just have this one space using it, which is why you see it all within here. But yeah, you see all the different pages, the different statuses, where they are within the workflow cycle, the page version, etc. And you can use the filters on the right-hand side to kind of narrow your search down if you wish. Again, being able to find that information as and when you need it. Yeah, workflows has been designed basically to take the processes you have and bring them into Confluence, build those workflows. You can customize and drag and drop and make it very tailored to how you need it to be. So yeah, that's a quick run through of workflows. I'll quickly stop sharing just to jump back and see if there's any questions, which we can take with a little bit of time remaining. Cool, thank you for the question. So Ash, I'll start with yours. In terms of limits on the number of workflows, no, there are no limits. You can create as many as you want. The only limit is that you can only have one workflow per page. But if you had 100 pages in a space, you could have a different workflow on every single one if you wanted. You just have to have one per page. So yeah, great question, thank you. Vivek, in terms of your question, yes, you can use workflows across different pages and spaces. Like I say, you can only have one workflow per page. But if a site admin creates a workflow, it can be used across every single space. If a space admin creates a workflow, it can only be used within that space. That's the only limitation. But again, working with a number of customers, that tends to be fine. You can also, as a space admin, import workflows that the site admins created and then customize them. Again, just giving you a little bit of added flexibility. But yeah, we've tried to design it in a way that people can do what they want and what they need, because like I mentioned, every organization is different. So having a kind of one size fits all approach is definitely not what is needed. And we wanted to make sure that this was flexible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd recommend if the site admins can create the bulk of the workflows that you need, and then space admins can kind of add on top of that, that's definitely the great way to go. But yeah, thank you for the question. Tim, Yes, so there are 5 out the box. So you can just generate the 5 templated workflows. Again, it's a great starting point. We tend to see lots of people just want to dive in and create their own, but we have got those 5 there by default as well. And we're planning to add more templated workflows in the future too. So yeah, great question. Thank you. And Ash, yeah, the workflow history is a great question. So what I'll do is I'll quickly jump in and reshare my page so you can see it. So a common question we get from people is understanding like the history of a page. We know obviously audits and looking at the history of a document is really important. So within any page, like this is the one that we had just now, you click on the 3 dots, oh, sorry, the Teams thing's in the way, and just click onto workflow info. This shows a history of the page and all the statuses that it's gone through. So here you can see it's had different workflows over time. These are the statuses that it's gone through. You can see it's me that's moving a lot of them because I do a lot of the demonstrations, but you would get a very granular view of what's going on here, and also the versioning as well. If you click onto the little comment bubble that's illuminated orange, this is where you'll see the comment. This is the one we added just now. So you get a full history of what you want to see. Again, we have more plans to improve this in the future too, but you do get that view. Cool. Yeah, I think that was all the questions. Is there any other questions that people have around workflows whilst we're here?
I could throw one more out. Probably it's more around, I guess, permissions and editing and those kind of things. So obviously you've built your workflow, you've got your standard Jira admin and space admin and whatnot. Do any of those come into play when you're building a workflow, or is it basically you have your lockdown permissions and you can choose how people edit the workflows and stuff like that?
Yeah, so workflows respects the Atlassian structure of Confluence. So the way the permissions work and the cascading permissions, it respects and works toward that. It doesn't introduce new permissions. So from creating workflows and editing them, only admins can do that. General Confluence users can't. In terms of the permissions within a page, so the set the page restrictions where we have the actions within the workflow, you can configure who sees what. So if you pull in certain users or groups, that's very customizable. You can do that. We'd always, so the other bit to add to that, sorry, is the users and the groups that are those fields that you saw within the demo. That's the Confluence users and groups. You don't have to go and recreate those groups within the app itself. It just pulls through the ones you already have in Confluence. So it's again really easy to get started with. And yeah, in terms of admins, the admin permission kind of trumps all. So if an admin can see a page, then they'll be able to access it. If they can't, then they'll have to do the request access using the kind of the normal approach. So yeah, we built it in a way that respects the permissions that people see and use today already.
So
cool.
Okay.
Great question. Thank you.
My pleasure. No, look, I don't see any further questions in the chat except for, will there be a recording of this? And yes, there will be. And Kit's just running out to get the links now, but we do have the, definitely follow our LinkedIn page for our posts to the YouTubes and the other socials. I think we've only got that, just YouTubes and whatever. But look, Craig and Tom, just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been awesome to, see the apps that, you've just demonstrated today. Once again, actual user of the optimizer app, loving that there, you've got your roadmap and going in the direction that we're seeing from DC to cloud. That's exciting. And look, I'm probably going to finish with saying that when you were talking about football, I'm not sure if you know this, but if you say football in Brisbane, it could mean about 3 or 4 different codes. So we say soccer. Well, I think we say soccer. But then yes, then I don't know, there's a lot more other ones anyway.
I was trying to remember if it was soccer when I was there, and I thought, okay,
so,
I wasn't 100% sure, so I'm not going to throw it in there just in case I offend.
Soccer, rugby league, rugby union, AFL. That's probably the preference of what I would say, but then I know there's probably other people on the call who would say rugby league, what are you doing? Anywho, but no, look, guys, thank you so much. We'll post this on our YouTube channel. We'll be tagging you guys in it. If anybody sees the post, though, please think of some Fox puns that are going to be hilarious, because then that's just going to be make it awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. And look, the gift of time, right? That brings us 1 minute early. So time for everybody, depending where you are, Craig and Tom, it's very early in the morning. So, go have your coffee and whatnot. And us over here in Australia, we can go grab a beer. Anyway.
Perfect. No, well, thanks ever so much
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us, and it's great to see you all. And yeah, as I say, we're here, so reach out if you need us, and enjoy the rest of your day. And it's been a real pleasure. So thank you, Ash and Kit, for the invite.
Cheers, guys. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Bye.
Take care all. Bye.